Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here once again. I want to talk to you here again about peace and prosperity and joy for us all, as spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. Today we are experiencing some things as a nation that is very vital that we really pay attention to. Right now we as a nation are experiencing some things that are replicas of yesterday. Many of us did not experience yesterday. Many of us did. And we know what's going on right now. We know the pain that comes with yesterday. And so I'm sure that all of us who have witnessed some of the past events of the week can identify what some of us might have known about yesterday, or about what some of us might have experienced yesterday, and how frightening it must have been back in those days when you had no one to come to your rescue. At least during these modern times, people have awakened to the extent that they will stand up. They will walk out in the streets and say, "We are not having it here." Even though silently, less aggressively, they are allowing it to happen every day. But they don't want it to be exposed to this magnitude, and so they stand up. But yesterday, there was no one there to stand up. And so this moment might give all of us a chance to experience that of yesterday, the ugliness of yesterday, the ugliness that rises up before us today, and it shows its ugly head, and we can all see it. We can all see what this ugliness is like. We can all understand what brings this about. We know that there are those who feel that they are left out in this system, and it causes them to act in ways that seems to be inhuman. And we all are responsible for such situations that exist like this. Maybe we don't understand, maybe we don't know, and whether we did or don't, it still exists. The thing of it is, how do we change it? How do we change the situation to make it better instead of worse? We know that the changes that we've made in the past did not work. Some of the pains that are felt today by our white brothers and sisters is that in the days when it was discovered and recognized and brought forth before the American people, that the treatment of its black citizens has been just as inhumane as could possibly be, and that they had suffered so much pain that in order to bring justice about, they were going to spread that pain a little over to the white side of town to make it a little easier for the blacks. But that was not the way. And the evidence of that being a failed way, ladies and gentlemen, is where we are today, right here confronting the situation where white people are saying there's white discrimination. And since we have justified this discrimination, we stand at odds with a statement like that. But reality says it's true. So what do? Do you get in the streets and fight about it, fight each other about who's going to win, and as if there's got to be a loser? There can be, absent any losers. You can all win. But in order to do that, you got to stop. Stop for a second and step out of that box of that brainwashing that you have been established in your mind by an outside force, by an outside source. This is why that ugliness continues. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know, I'm not asking you, I'm not telling you, I'm not trying to direct you to follow the directions of another. No, not in the sense of a human another. We are following the fruits and the results, the consequences of a self-appointed God who wants to rule the world. And who is that self-appointed God? It is the leader of every system. No, this time I'm not just talking about the United States of America. I'm talking about Russia. I'm talking about China. I'm talking about Iran. Talking about here, I'm talking about every place where people call themselves separate and got a distinction. Mexico, everybody. That's mankind. All these different divisions are where we say, well, we can't let you rule us. We're going to rule ourselves. And all of it brings about division. None of it brings it together. It's all a consequence of what? Of what? Of somebody trying to take something from somebody else that they can have more and be bigger and superior. And God. That's what it essentially boils down to. It essentially boils down to somebody trying to take what you have. Now, let me make it easy for you. It might be hard for you to see the whole world operating like this unless I break it down to you to a simple way. Let's look at the United States of America, you American citizens who are listening at me today. You know something about the history of America. You know that it was founded on people who supposedly was looking for something else and ended up here. Make a long story short, they end up saying they discovered it, as if it was not here. And maybe they will still give a legitimacy to say that it was here, but we just discovered that it was here too. And so we just write off that other stuff, all of the other real stuff, and let's just start here at our beginning. And in our beginning, what is it founded on? It's founded on coming here, ending up deciding that when people who were already here treated you nice and kind and wonderful, you ended up taking their land. We not even go through what the process was, how you did it, but you ended up taking their land. You came from someplace else because you were dissatisfied, but you came here and brought your dissatisfaction on the people who were pretty satisfied with the way they were going, and you decided to take. Then you decided that parts of you wanted to get some free labor when you found out you could, that you had this kind of humanity or lack thereof, and you got you some free labor and called them animals. Treated them less than animals. They never could get the true attention that your pets got unless you wanted to abuse them sexually for that moment. Now, this is happening in this nation, the foundation of this nation, but this is just not this nation. What that indicates to you, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm trying to express to you, that's the foundation of every nation. Every nation. They went somewhere and took it. Somebody went in there and took. You know what it means to take? And when you take, you make people invariably have to depend on you for something that they don't have. So now you can manipulate them, control them, and have them doing what you want done, even if it works against their own advantage. Some won't, but some will. Especially when they get to that point where if they don't, maybe they won't survive. Others won't take that path. Others will commit what you have set up to block them laws. They'll just break the law. Why? Because the necessity for what they're trying to do is there, and the people don't know that there is an answer. I'm sure that the people who are causing this stuff to happen knows there is an answer. That's why they put up all these rolling blocks, like laws and this and that. But the point of this situation that I come to you today, ladies and gentlemen, is to say, look here, knowing all of that, the most important thing today is a solution. Now, I guess all across this nation, and perhaps all across the world where people have some association with the United States of America, and right now they are just as confused as you, the people. But in America, for power's sake, there are little groups coming together, and they're contemplating. They're thinking, what do we do in a situation like this? And how do we come out looking good? They don't want to come out looking bombastically stupid. They want to come out as if they've done this thing the right and proper way. So the critiques won't be legitimate, because they will come. And these things are taking place because they know that even though we are a crooked nation, they don't want anybody sitting up on the front stage letting the world know how crooked we really are. Those things that Donald Trump is saying and doing is done every day in the highest powers. But they're done there because nobody else really got the right to know, the need to know, and so it's kept away from them. Donald Trump just bringing it down here in our midst and trying to throw it around on us. And if you knew it, he's really letting the cat out the bag. But he's no friend of ours. He's no friend of ours because his fight is not with us. His fight is with them because he want to be one of them. And he use us to get to be one of them. And tell us in a lie to be one of them. But there is a way out. There's a way out. And then, again, ladies and gentlemen, don't look for somebody else to do it. You will have people like Sanders. Sanders said all the right things. He said the same basic things that Donald Trump said. He was a little, perhaps, more genuine than Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is trying to do exactly what he's trying to do. Sanders was going to try to help, but he was an interference, and he was called to the side, just like Jesse Jackson was. And he was given the facts of life. And he came back out saying, well, I'm not going to continue this fight. I'm going to go along with the establishment. Same as Jesse Jackson. Go along with the establishment. So, when he comes back, and he will come back probably, he'll be saying these same things, and you will believe him. I ask you why. If he had believed that stuff in the first place, he wouldn't have given in, even if they threatened him. It makes it seem like when Donald Trump said this statement, Monday or something like that, where he seems to want to come back and kind of smooth the waters a little bit about the statement that he had previously made. And he went. It appears almost as he went back in the powers that be who put him there, ladies and gentlemen. Donald Trump did not accidentally get there. Donald Trump was put there. All the stuff Donald Trump has done, all the stuff that's being investigated on Donald Trump is one of the crookedest people in America. And Donald Trump knows it. Donald Trump is really trying to save his life. He's really trying to save his life. Because all of this investigation is just to put that stuff together. That's all. To put it together, to pile it together so it can present it out there to the public and see, look is what you're looking at. And so when Donald Trump made that statement, went back in, it's coming right back out the following day, making a bolder statement than before. It was like they told him, you better get yourself back out there. And he popped back out there because the line that he's been riding and selling all the time, he has to keep it going. That is the line that they put him in here to do, to cause the kind of division, to cause the kind of strife amongst the people, to draw them into streets, to make them go crazy. But the power that you can't see, that can't touch, you can't feel, is the author. You know how you treat your mother. You know how your mother treats you. And all of you parents out there, you know how you love your children. Loving your children doesn't mean that you don't love the children of another family. It just means that yours come first. And if you got to make a choice between who gets or who don't, you're going to choose your own. Now, you know that. You know it would be nice if you could help somebody else and anybody that needs help, but you can't, because we live in a system that will not allow you to do that. Unless you are in the other 1% or something. But the Father, the creator of the human race, is the parent of every human being on the face of the earth. And that parent feels the same way about every individual on the face of the earth as you feel about your individual child. That's why all of the resources were given to the earth. That the earth might be able to manifest to birth whatever your spirit determines is a possibility, is a necessity, is something that you want to do in this life. You can pull it up in your mind, and your mind will give you the wisdom and to make the right moves. And as you make the right moves, you step forward out there into the earth, whether it's on the earth, in the earth, above the earth, seen or unseen, and cause it to manifest itself by the spirit of your mind that is constructed and led by the spirit of the Almighty Creator God. Woo! Fantastic. So that everybody can play a role in life. And everybody's role in life is important. And in so doing, what you're actually doing, again, from just benefiting your own selves, but you're recognizing and giving true expressions of a power that you can't see, you can't touch, you can't feel. But you can see it all about you in the manifestation of your own dreams. Now, this is something that the powers that be will never do for you. But you, in the midst of this, when you can all see what's going on, you people, we the people, not just in America, we can make the moves right now because we are in the spotlight. And we can show the world, all of us who are victims of this system, all of us who have empowered the system to be exactly what it is. And this includes the military. This includes everybody who can feel the spirit of this. Let us make a change. Let us decide that we're going to change this thing, that we're not going to continue down this path, that we're not going to continue to create amongst us brothers and sisters who feel hate and animosity and can only see themselves existing by the destruction of somebody else. We're going to make sure that we wipe that out. And we're not going to wipe it out by trying to dismount Donald Trump and his way of thinking and all the people who have been identified as haters and all. We're not trying to punish them. They are victims just like we are. We're glad we have not suffered whatever brought them to the point that they are where they're at. We're glad we didn't have to experience that. But we still experience enough to still allow the system to continue to exist as it is. And this is part of the finished product. This is a part of the outcome. And if we're serious about it, then let us make a serious decision to say that our responsibility does not eliminate us from the suffering any more than it does those who seem to be going through it in a different kind of way than us. If we want to eliminate our own pain, let us recognize that I'm sure they do too. In order, and the recognition of this is to recognize that and understand that we can't fix it without one another. We don't even know sometimes what we have done to cause all the pain and suffering that's going on in the world. But those who are victims of it know. And they can suggest what you can do about it to fix it. You can tell them whether you can or whether you're willing. And whatever you end up doing is an expression of where you came from. Did you fix it? Or are you just extending the problem to some other time? I'm saying let us come together. While they're trying to destroy the world, while they're trying to take control and use all the human beings as little slaves and minions and puppets to do the things that they want to do to make them feel like they are truly gods, as they've lied to us and told us they are the DNA from the powers that be. They are no more the DNA of the powers that be than we are. No more than we are. It's just the lies that they sold that we bought. Now we can put it to rest. We know now that I don't care if they're the president and CEOs of this or that, they don't own it. They only got that seemingly stuff because of the deception that the people received and accepted and allowed them to do. But now we recognize that everything belongs to a power that be. Gave it to all of us. We didn't know how stupid we were when we gave it back to you and got you in running our lives. We didn't know we were stupid. But now the Spirit comes to awake us. And we are awakening. And this message is about you, ladies and gentlemen. Not just here in America. But yes, here. So that we can be an example to those who don't know love like we say we do. And we are going to be required to show it by exonerating all of those brothers and people in jail who've been put in there because of the systems that we've allowed to persecute them and put them in a position. Now, does that mean that everybody in prison gets free? I tell you what, this is what it means. Everybody wants to survive. And people going around killing people has no business in the midst of people killing them. Now, it is not our duty to go kill them to make sure they don't kill us, but to find out what the heck it is that caused them to kill and try to see if we can wipe it out. And if we can't wipe it out, they got to be separated. That's why we on this earth, to be separated from people who are no count, or be accepted in the midst of people who are no count. In other words, if you looked at the world today, I don't care how good some of us think we are, we're all in the mix of no count. We're in the midst of no count because we can't see our way out of this world, as ugly as it is. And when I say see our way out of it, I mean coming a light, so that the other parts of the world can see the difference in you and your understanding of life than that they have accepted. It means that you probably gonna get killed. But you know the benefit of being killed. Now, I can't really talk to you about that because that's just taking you a little bit too far. But I want you, the victims of every society, to become as a good Samaritan to one another. You know, I just saw a news story this morning where this elderly gentleman, I think is about 60-some years old, was kayaking, and he got in some dangerous water and got caught up in a dangerous situation. And he was really struggling to survive. There were some people trying to help him, and things really got complicated, as if maybe perhaps this guy was going to lose his life. And there was another guy who was right there also trying to help, who at that moment decided to jump into those dangerous waters, a situation where they say, well, others have lost their lives there, and he could have well lost his life. But knowing this, or didn't care, to have not even having that thought, he immersed himself into that water. He went there to help that guy. And by so doing, he was able to save this guy's life. Now, that guy is grateful. He is as grateful as can be to this person that helped him. But he should also be grateful to God, because the message is that there are those who died there, but he didn't. So why was he selected to not die, to become a voice for the truth of the powers that you can't see? See, the powers that you can't see is the power that energized that young man, that hero, to jump into that water, gave him the spirit to don't care about nothing but that man. That was the power that you can't see, that emerged itself in that young man and guided that young man to victory for the other man. And all of us can see the power of that you can't see, touch, or feel. I want you to recognize this, ladies and gentlemen. When we become that Samaritan, that guy felt great. Now, what we as poor people, we who are as victims of the systems are going to do is become the Samaritan to one another. And we can all be happy and grateful and satisfied. And those who have been the oppressors, we're going to forgive them. And we're going to allow them within our own way of doing things, the same as we, that they might have their dreams come true, absent their desire to control and manipulate people as if they themselves are God. No, they can put that down, because we as human beings that are awake are not accepting that any longer. Now, are you with me or are you not? Think about it. Respond in action, not words. I don't care what you say. We will know by your action. Bye-bye.